How's it going, everyone? My name is Dylan, also known as PatsFin177. Welcome back to the channel again today. I'm here just kind of making a sort of stranger video about the Boston Celtics because they confuse me a lot and I don't really know what to think, and I'm just going to kind of talk about it today because I don't even know how I feel about them anymore. Really, it's such a strange thing that they're doing. So just to get into it right now, quick recap. They lost the first two games of their series against Miami. They won the next one, so to make it a 2-1 series, and then they lost Game 4, so it is a 3-1 deficit. Game 5 is last night, and they won, and they overcame a 12-point early deficit, down 17-5, and in the first quarter they scored 18 points, and they looked like they could not even wait to get out of Orlando. They just looked like they were done. And then they came on strong in the next couple quarters. The third quarter they won handily. Um, and now, it's like they stormed back, and now they're the ones that are coming back from double-digit leads down. Um, Double-digit deficits, I should say. That was a stupid term to put it in. I don't really know how I feel about this now. They're so strange, and I think there were articles about this, and me and my dad have been saying this, and the one thing about the Celtics, they are consistently inconsistent, and I think that's the biggest problem with them this year. I don't think they're winning this series. I don't. I would love to see them win it, but I don't think they will. Um, it's just so tough to come back from down 3-1 against the Miami Heat. And I know it's 3-2, and I know if they win tomorrow night, then everybody's going to be saying they're right back in it in Game 7. They're a tough team, and I think they got tougher because of that Toronto series, but I still don't know if they have enough to beat the Miami Heat. So yeah, the Boston Celtics 121-108 Game 5 win over the Miami Heat on Friday night still feels significant. Not a declaration of the inevitable, no, but evidence of the possible. This series isn't over, the Heat aren't safe, the Celtics aren't rolling over. That's kind of the biggest thing I took away from this, is that the Celtics aren't rolling over, and that's a good thing. I'm proud of them for that, because it would have been pretty easy to do, especially with this bubble. And they looked terrible coming out of the gate. I mean, they gave up a 12-0 run in the first quarter, and they were down 17-5. They just looked awful. They couldn't do anything. They were hucking up threes. I think they started the game 1 for 9 shooting and 1 for 8 from 3. So that's, again, not what you want. But later on in the game, they put Enes Kanter in. Daniel Tice played a terrific game. Jayson Tatum was amazing, and Jaylen Brown was amazing, again, because that's what they do. And they dominated inside. They ended up with, I think, 56 points in the paint after 60 in their Game 3 win. So when you look at their formula for winning and victory against the Miami Heat, it's one thing, and that is attacking the paint. And we kind of have to wonder why they didn't start this game out like that, and why they haven't been doing that more. Because they should not be down in this series. I keep saying they should not be down in this series. It should be 3-2 Boston. That's what I think. Because they should have taken one of those two that they lost to start the series. They should have taken one of those. Listen, I can't blame them for Game 4. Tyler Herro went off for 37 points. You're not going to get that every night from Tyler Herro. You didn't get it. He was really a non-factor last night. He hit some buckets in garbage time, really, but he was a non-factor last night. He really hasn't done much, or he didn't do much in that last game. And aside from his 37 points, I mean, he's been good. He's been really good for the Miami Heat, but he hasn't been this big superstar, this walking bucket that everybody makes him out to be. Come on, man. You scored 37. I mean, I get it. He's a 20-year-old. Everybody loves to bring up age, and that's the thing about Jayson Tatum. People will say, oh, he's only 20, he's only 21, he's only 22. People have been saying that his whole life. But I get it. Tyler Herro is a really good player, and you're not going to get that every night from him. So that's why I don't really blame the Celtics for Game 4. For Games 1 and 2, they should have won at least one of those games. I think they should have won at least one of those games. And again, I will hand them Game 1. Because Game 1, it's like they just stormed back at the end, and Bam Adebayo with that block. What are you going to do with that? I still think the Celtics shouldn't have given up their double-digit lead in the fourth quarter, but that's just me. I mean, look at this. Boston outscored Miami 41-25 on the back of a 17-point detonation from Jayson Tatum, a frantic defensive effort, and a commitment to getting out in transition. That's the second half. I mean, they scored a lot of points. They finished with, what, 121? 18 of those. 18 of those were in the first quarter. That's 103 points in 3 quarters. That is not bad, okay? That's an offensive explosion right there. And you gave up 108, but that's okay because you made up for it with 121. That's what the Celtics need to do, right? That's what they need to do. They got to attack inside. And that's what Enes Kanter came in to do. And I know people knock his defense, but that's what he came in to do. And that's what he did for the Boston Celtics. And now you've got, Jaylen Brown in the fourth quarter. 12 of his 28 points were in the fourth quarter. He hit those back-to-back threes. He was blowing a kiss to the Miami Heat bench, But this is the thing. The Heat's three-point shooting has regressed largely by their own undoing since game 1. They put down just 23.3% of their wide-open triples in the previous 3 tilts. I do need to say Jay Crowder has been really bad from 3. He's been terrible from 3. And again, 7 for 36 overall, 19.4%. That's bad. The Celtics shot like that. I don't know what game it was. Probably against the Raptors, one of those games. And we were all just, the sky is falling. That Jaylen Brown contest reaching for the sky to get Herro to miss is the difference between Game 4 Celtics and Game 5 Celtics. Their switches and closeouts have been pristine in the second half, and the offense is just coming easily, just as Steven said in the huddle earlier. Oh man, I don't know what to even think about them. They are so confusing because they'll play like this one night, and then Game 6 they could come out and just wet the bed and be terrible. I hate to use that term, but they could be awful and they could miss all their shots. And it's like, I mean, what do you even say about that? You can't say what went wrong because there were times when it went right. So I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to think. I don't know how to predict this. It's like, when it rains, it pours, and that goes both sides. It just feels like, I mean, when the Celtics are playing great, they're playing really great. They said in however many games, the Celtics have the longest running streak in the NBA. I'm pretty sure. They have the longest running streak in the NBA without a 10-point loss. They don't get blown out. The Celtics do not get blown out. Okay? The Celtics can make these games close. They can make them contested games when they lose. And then when they win, obviously, they can win by a bunch like they did this night. I don't even know what to say about them. Again, look at this. Percentage of the Celtics field goal attempts that have come inside restricted area versus the Heat. Let's just look at this, alright? Game 1, 21.6% in a loss. Game 2, 27.8% in a loss. Game 3, jumps up to 37.6%. That's a win. Game 4 drops back down, 26.8%. That's a loss. Game 5, 34.4%. That's a win. It's a formula. This is not just a one-time thing. They don't win when they are just taking outside shots. They don't. You're not going to beat the Heat like that. If you want to outshoot the Heat, you're probably not going to do it. They did last night. But the Heat have Duncan Robinson. They got Jimmy Butler can hit his shots. Jay Crowder, if he can ever get his stroke back, I mean, he's been a consistent three-point shooter for his career. You've got Tyler Herro, who has been hitting his threes. You got these guys, you got these weapons. Goran Dragic, who can hit his threes. He can attack anywhere. So you have all these guys that can do stuff, and you're trying to beat them at their game. I don't understand that. You can't beat them at that game consistently. And that's why we're down. That's why we went down 3-1, and we're going to have to win 3 straight. Well, 2 straight now. And so I don't know if they can do it. Listen, I'm going to be proud of the Celtics if they push this to 7. I will be proud of them. It would be really easy to just go home right now. I know they don't want to. If they push it to 7, I'll be proud because this is kind of what Toronto did to us. And people were heaping praises on Toronto even though they lost the series because they pushed it to 7 when they went down 0-2. That's not an easy thing to do, and we played a mentally tough team in Toronto, and I think there's going to be effects on that on this series, because the Celtics are now a tougher team because of that. And that'll be really interesting, though, if they can have a 2-0 lead in one series, then blow it and still win, and then have an 0-2 deficit in one series and then come back and even force in a game 7, I think, is a victory at this point after being down 3-1. 0-2 and 3-1. We didn't even tie it at 2-2. So we made it harder on ourselves than the Raptors did to them. I don't know. Either way, I think the Celtics, it's been a really good season. It's been a really fun season and a strange one with the bubble. We'll see what happens tomorrow night. I think the first season with Kemba Walker and Cantor and Daniel Tice playing a bigger role, I would chalk this up as a success. I know that we don't want to keep waiting. We don't want to keep hearing about the future and all our picks. Because the picks are players now. The picks are Jaylen Brown. They're Jayson Tatum. That's what we got for those picks. That's what we want to start seeing. And we're going to have success from that. I'm confident in that, but I just don't know when. Gordon Hayward was not really good last night offensively. He really did not have his shooting touch. He hasn't since he got back. He really hasn't. Maybe that changes. Maybe he can be a spark off the bench. Just him being out there, I think, off the bench is better for the Celtics. I really do, because that's taking away the minutes that Semi Ojeleye was maybe gonna have. And even Gordon, when he passes the ball every time he touches it, is probably better than Semi Ojeleye just hucking up these random threes at random times. So that can help us. I mean, I don't know. The Celtics need heroic efforts from a lot of their big guys. They need heroic efforts from Jayson, who is a double-double machine in the playoffs. I think they said he's got the most. Let me see if I can remember this correctly. I believe they said he's got the most 25-point, 10 rebound, and 5 assist games in the playoffs before turning 23 years old. I'm pretty sure that's it. If I got that right, I think this deserves a like if I got that right. I'm not going to lie to you. But not going to talk about likes right now. We're not talking about that. We're not worried about that right now. Game 6 tomorrow night. Let's see what the Celtics can do. If they can storm back, man, that'll be really fun to watch. They laid breadcrumbs in Game 5, and if they follow them, they'll have a chance of regaining what they lost at the beginning of this series. Benefit of the doubt. That could be it, guys. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with the Patriots tomorrow. I'm going to be making a video on that. I'm going to try to do it right after the game, hopefully, so I don't have to run into the Celtics. Worst case scenario will be Monday, though. My post-game Patriots video after they hopefully can come out victorious over the Las Vegas Raiders. So until then, I will see you all next time.